Came out from the we saw that there was fire. We saw some fire at that place, so we had to run out to the room. We shouted to say people should leave their house because so there was an explosion at the barracks. So we started running before people came out. We went as far as to Afarawa, some to Yellow Signboard. But later we asked to come back to about almost 1 hour time. We asked to come back.
That was around which time?
I got to around 2:30.
Okay. Yeah. At the time, the fire had been doused.
Yes.
That was MFA Tiamo Ellie speaking with an eyewitness there, resident of the area. She now joins us on the phone lines. Good morning, MFA.
Good morning, Daniel.
In the first place, what are the people saying? So how are they reacting to what happened over the night?
For now, I can report that there's some kind of tension. They are afraid. Yes, I can say. Essentially, that's what they've been telling me. I spoke with the assemblyman who said, though this is the first time there seems to be an explosion in the area, but then there's been a fire incident at the ammunition depot before, and the impact was so much that they, at the time, but for God, most of them would have lost their lives and their properties. So for this dawn on happening again, their fear is that, they can't really speak for their lives. They wish that the military will relocate the depot just so they don't record any fatalities in the future. Quite a number of them are gathered here in the community, pockets of them essentially discussing what happened. Most of them said they heard multiple loud explosions at around between and 1 a.m. And then all they heard was military officers going around the community asking them to leave their homes, run out of their homes, because they didn't want to experience any casualty. I have been to 3 homes so far at Kakasunanka number 1, which is just about 50 meters away from the ammunition depot where the incident happened. I visited one room where I heard one of the soldiers say it's a rocket that hit through a slate roofing through to the trap door of a tenant. The tenant is currently not in the house. I'm told he's gone to work. But then he took the metal and has hidden it in his room. While here, I saw about 2 military officers who came in with the hope to retrieve the metal. But then the guy is not around, so they couldn't get it. But they were impressing on some of the tenants around, just in case it's in their custody, they will hand it over to them. But they kept saying they didn't have it and that it was with a guy. So the assemblyman told me he has actually called the guy who has the weapon to come and give it to the military. And he tells me, he says he's on his way. So I am there waiting with the hope that he will come and then show us what really it is that hit his roof through to his trapdoor. I also visited another structure in the community. It's actually a kiosk, but then it is somebody's room. That place too, the owner is currently not around. It's been locked up. I saw an opening through the roof, through to the side of the kiosk, which is the wood. So you can see a piercing through the roof, through to the side. What I gathered from the residents is that the metal, whether missile or rocket, whatever it was, hit through the roof, through the kiosk, and then landed on the ground. But at the moment, the metal is not here. Whoever picked it, they can't tell. They can't locate where the metal is. So there's kind of a tense atmosphere here. And it is just not the assemblyman who is calling for relocation. I get that same sense among every other person who spoke to me here in the community. So that's the situation here currently at Kakasunanka number 1, which is just about 50 meters away from the base where the explosion happened. Daniel.
So, MFA, these metals that are flying out of the base and are landing in people's homes, passing through people's roofs and walls, are they explosive metals or they are just shrapnel from the explosion? Have the people been able to establish if indeed these are weapons of any kind?
Daniel, at the moment, they are unable to tell the exact weapon those metals are. And I'm also, handicapped in that area to
of
tell
course.
you what it is. At best, I can just explain it to you. It's a long-range metal with a narrow tip. I don't know if you know the thing we use, the fire explosive that we use during Christmas.
Yes.
That's how it looks. The one you shoot into the sky, then you see light, colors of light coming out. That's how the metal looks like. It looks sharp at the tip and a bit long, about 3 or 4 inches long. And the bigness,
and it's blunt on the other end.
Yes, exactly. There was one which I saw which was actually stuck in the trap door. When it went through the roofing, it got stuck into the trap door. There was actually another door before you enter the room, which is the heavy one. So it couldn't go through that particular door. It got stuck in the trap door. And then I understand the tenant came out and then took it out. And that's what we are all waiting, that he comes and then give it to the military personnel who are asking for it. The others, there's one I saw lying on the ground. That one, I'm yet to locate the home or the house, the very place it landed, and if there was any impact, if anyone was hurt. I am yet to identify that location. So generally, that is all I can say about the weapon itself. They would, the military, they won't go on record except for their public affairs directorate, which I understand will be addressing the press later this morning.
Right. They have also assured us, MFA, that they'll be speaking to us shortly on the show. So we would get some more clarity on some of these issues. Right, MFA, thanks so much. Now, with flying metals and all of that around, it's a wonder, really, that we haven't had any, and a thankful one, that we haven't had any casualty or any injuries reported since last night. Have you heard of anything like that from the residents?
Not at all. There hasn't been any casualty. I was actually speaking to one of the residents, a woman whose house is just about 10 meters away from one of the structures that was hit. At the time, she said she was in her room praying. Something is a routine she does. So at the sound of the hitting, she got so terrified, rushed out of her room. All she saw was everyone running helter-skelter, trying to run for their life. I mean, you can understand. And then they got close only to see a metal on the ground. And looking at her and listening to her, she feels very terrified. She was trembling, telling me her story for her. But for God, nobody could tell how far that metal could have gone to hit somebody. And to think that it managed to land where it did without hurting anybody, she can only thank her God for her life. That's the sentiment I'm picking around. Okay. I mean, everyone seems to say the same thing. Yeah, we are grateful to God, but for God, what would have happened? That is all they are saying.
Right. MFA, thank you very much for that report. MFA Etiamwa Eli is a producer here at Joy News, and she's also a journalist, and she's actually my producer on Joy News today, on the midday bulletin on Joy News on TV. So Raymond, here is the case where we have, and of course, like I told listeners earlier, we'll be speaking with the police shortly. With the military shortly, or the Ministry of Defense as well. Because here we are with a base ammunition depot. Now, this is a very key military installation. It was constructed at a time where Tema was just about as big as Community 4 and 5, Raymond, during the First Republic.
Yes, this is around 1960, according to the military.
Around 1960 was when this was constructed. Now, Tema has grown to 25 Afienya. And it's growing. It's growing
far
larger.
Beyond that, yeah.
It's growing larger up to Michelle Camp. Now, here's the case where people are encroaching onto the land, and the people who have encroached are now saying that we should relocate the base, which is worrying. But do we have a choice now?
First, security. 2, safety. First, and mostly we try to marry the two and find a compromise on that. 1, what is the strategic location of this particular base, and which one will be the most appropriate way of doing it? The third one is that because we have evolved with technology, we could equally have this base there, but the specific deposit, the specific depot that they keep these ammunition would be safeguarded in a way with modern technology that if any accident of this sort happens, it wouldn't be a threat to a larger community. So those are the things that we should be thinking around.
Now, for a bit of clarity, in case someone is wondering, the base ammunition depot is not part of Michel Camp. 1BN, which is the infantry units, the battalion units at Michel Camp, is not part of the base ammunition depot. The base ammunition depot is actually a depot on its own.
Yeah.
They could be anywhere. Now, I have with me here an 11th, a 2003 report. I want to get the specific one. Raymond, I'll give you a minute to finish up your point. Then I'll get the specifics of this one, because I want to be very, very precise with this one.
So what I'm just trying to say is that we should be able to marry the two. I mean, of course, if we need the base there specifically because of a strategic reasoning and location, we can still do it. But we need to actually modernize, and nobody can convince me that since 1960 or the years after that, we have not evolved when it comes to technology for such places. So we can do better. We're building a more modern facility which can still contain these weapons, and think about a possible explosion at the place and how it was supposed to be contained. So that's where the safety element comes in.
Yeah.
On the other side, if you feel that the people's location close to this particular base is a problem, we can relocate them. This will not be the first time we have relocated people in specific areas in this country. It will not be the first time we have engaged in such kind of action to protect people. Of course, when we're building the Akosombo Dam, we have to relocate communities, huge ones. So where the Akosombo Dam is sitting today, parts of it were submerged, were communities that were there. There are always plans to relocate people for the good of the larger society. My difficulty is why we know that this is a possible explosive site, and yet we have over the years done a lot of the talk on possible relocation and no action in this case.
On that point, on the 11th of March 2003, the Ghanaian Chronicle reported, the headline here is, "Ammunition Depot to be relocated." The Ministry of Defense MOD is to relocate the Base Ammunition Depot BAD from its present base near the Michel Camp Tema to two sites, one in the north and one in the south. For obvious security reasons, they don't name where they want to relocate to. Now, listen. Defense Minister Dr. Kwame Adukufo disclosed this in Parliament last week. According to him, the planners of military installations around the country cited the armories and magazines away from the civil residential areas. However, with time, the expansion of civilian dwelling areas has caught up with all military barracks, offices and training centers. Right, it goes on to explain what an armory is and what it's used for. The minister said the BAD was built in the 1960s. At the time, the facility had a safety distance of about 4 kilometers from residential areas and posed no danger to residents. Now, however, the depot vicinity has been massively encroached upon by developers to a distance of less than 1 kilometer. That was in 2003. Today, they are almost on them.
But this argument is interesting. Do you know why? I remember when the chain homes issue came up, and the military said that even though we've gone to court and we have to relocate the people around Burma camp, the fear is that the people are too close to a military installation for our liking, and we need to relocate them. It is increasingly becoming the case that we've sold all the lands that are supposed to be security and other buffer zones, and they are there for a reason. And there's also a contestation between whether traditional authorities believe that the land belongs to them or it's for the military. In the case of the chain homes, it went through a lot of work, and actually I think that the ministry lost the case.
You see,
but for some good reason, this state should be able to say that these places are just designated for military and other things. No element of control can be exerted by anybody again.
You let me finish the 2003, and if you just tune in, we are reading a report from the Ghanaian Chronicle from the 11th of March, Tuesday 11th of March 2003, because Raymond, there are still a few juicy details in here you want to know. The minister, and by minister here, it is then Minister of Defense, Dr. Kwame Adukufo. The minister said the BAD was built in the 1960s. At the time, the facility had a safe distance of about 4 kilometers. I've said this. Dr. Adukufo said that the uncontrollable encroachment on BAD has compelled the MOD, that's Ministry of Defense, to initiate a formal move. This is where it gets interesting. To relocate the depot from its present densely populated area to two remote sites. A technical team visited two sites between 22nd and 28th September last year. And I'm not talking about 2018, I'm talking about 2002. And after submitting evaluation and assessment reports, all is set for the construction of a modern ammunition depot. It goes on to say the new sites are large enough to contain the safety distance of all nature of ammunition held in the Ghana Armed Forces. Now, this paper reported in 2002 a number of explosives at Tema, mainly discarded ones, from the beach through Community 5 to Community 18. That's close to where I used to live. Now, apart from Community 18, 2 unexploded highly explosive, that's HE shells, and a remaining 2 exploded, killing 2 persons. The first was a grenade found at the beach by 2 sons of a pastor. As they lifted and examined the strange object, it detonated and killed them. Workmen construction a fence wall as Community 5 excavated the long, heavy, unsuspecting object, placed it among rubbish. When set ablaze, the HE shell diffused, recording cracks in mansions after a deafening sound. Investigations conducted by this reporter later revealed that parts of Tema had been the present port location, and the west towards Sakomono was dotted with bunkers and ammunition depots during the Second World War. The reason why I read it to the end, Raymond, is that now we have flying metals coming out of the depot into the neighborhood. People have shrapnel and pieces of metal suspected to be missiles, suspected to be explosives, entering their homes. How do we know how many of them have landed in the surrounding areas? And I'll tell you some of the surrounding areas. Kakasuna and Kanama 1. The barracks itself, 1BN. Sebripo and New Sebripo. Community 25. And there are a number of estates there which I cannot name because they are commercial entities. Raymond, how do we know that when this explosion happened, you know what? Buildings cracked in this explosion in the morning. How do we know where all the metals were? Does the military have a full inventory of what was kept there? Do we know exactly what has expired during the explosion and the fire? Do you know what has been destroyed? Can we tell which of them is missing and which is destroyed? Are we sure that our military installations, our military equipment is secure and the people who handle them are safe?
This point you make is legitimate. Equally legitimate is the fact that our settlement plan has always been problematic.
Very true, very true.
And if we fix the problem with our settlement planning, we will not come back to this conversation, because it will be foreseeable to anybody building a military barracks or its related installments that this can happen. And if this can happen, what are the spaces within which this will go? And how do we protect the people? For somebody living in the area today, you should know you're not that safe. So if for your own personal security, you might have a rethink about where you live and all of that related. But the bigger conversation is that unless we fix our penchant to sell every single land, be it contentious, be it close to facilities, and unless we do that, we are not going to get to the bottom of the matter. That is where the bigger problem is. So today, what we can do basically is go and negotiate with the people that this is a military installation and also facility which has very serious and dangerous elements to it. You need to relocate, or we need to make sure you relocate, and we stop future encroachment of areas like this. If we don't stop it, we may have a bigger problem on our hands going into the future. And you see, we will wait for problems to happen. We wait for serious issues to happen. Huge number of people will die, and we then come back to say that, oh, let's think about the way forward. They can be easily dealt with. Assuming in 2003 you could equally fix the problem and fail to fix it, we have another opportunity now. Mindful of the fact that the dangers and of course, there were no casualties as we speak today.
But there are clear and present dangers.
Very
because
good.
You see, those explosions that happened that I read in the 2003 story, the explosives were just lying around.
Brilliant.
The concern now is that some explosives from there
are still in the soil or
somewhere.
Yes. And people don't know how to manage that.
Thank you very much.
And that can cause massive danger.
Thank you very much.
It is up to the people in charge of these units, from the military to the people who manage these lands, to look out for safer places for people to live. At least, let's now agree that it is not for fun's sake. We cannot sell the lands. We cannot completely pretend that lands close to some of these installations are safe. It's just like saying that you are living in an earthquake zone and you're happily saying I still live there. Like the people who are on that particular wage who completely say to you that we are 5,000, we are fine, we are okay. But when the danger comes, the entire nation will suffer. Maybe the government should have the muzzle to move in and say, we can't allow you to live here, regardless of the other opposition to it, so that they can move away the people in safer zones. Because, again, we have designated these as security zones for a very long time. And we have deliberately breached these zones and put people there in the first place.
You know the concern I have? Raymond? This would be the third story, okay, that we've done in recent times. That's at least we can count. That people, excuse my language, put themselves in danger. Excuse my language. I use this expression very advisedly. Pardon me if you're listening. People put themselves in danger. And then the onus now lies on the state to do something about it. It is very legitimate, and we read this ourselves, that in 2003 there were plans to relocate the BAD. We are going to speak to government and ask questions about that. But we all know that this was set up some 1960, 40 years ago. And people always say that, did we ever imagine our population growth? When in 1960 we were about 5 million or 6 million people. Tema was about up to community 4 or 5. There were 4 clear kilometers between 4 or 5. That was the edge of Tema. And what is now Michelle Camp? Today, Michelle Camp itself is a place that people live. Yeah. Who are not military personnel anyway. But that's another point. Raymond, we've also talked about the Wager Ridge, where people have built on a place that is mudslide prone, that is landslide prone, that's also earthquake prone. And Raymond, unfortunately, 2-3 years ago, we talked about Men's Gold as well. People put monies there. You see what I mean? And yes, authorities must act, and we would always sit on government to do what they must do. But we as the citizens to Raymond, don't we also have a responsibility?
But Daniel, I'm not holding brief for people who do some of these things. But you see, a failing state is the one that cannot ensure that the right things are done all the time and crack the whip on that. If you don't do so, human beings are greedy. Human beings give it the opportunity to act within whichever space they want to exploit it. They want to make maximum use of their resources at all times. That is why you institute laws and procedures to regulate that. Because you need to sometimes protect the people for themselves. Because of how people, out of ignorance or deliberate decision to exploit, would want to live in places like this. Again, let's not pretend that there are so many places, a wonderful place to live in this country, with high rent, with difficult to come by buildings and all of that. People feel that if I'm able to build my house, even if it's Kakasunanka or anywhere close to any of these places, I am safer and I have to save a lot of money in the process. So the quest to grab lands is there. It is up to us to regulate that process and insist that you cannot do this by hook or crook. In the first instance, they may not understand, they may not even appreciate it. But assuming this thing happens and the people of 5,000 or so that live around the Roja Ridge, if you have huge massacre and huge deaths from there, we'll be the same people who have to come and resolve the problem. So we can bite the bullets now. We can be seen as regulatory institutions functioning and doing their work now to make sure that we put people out of danger before they get into the danger in the first place. So and again, nobody in regulatory space is supposed to be a nice person. That is why the state is there, not even government. It's because sometimes we leave these things to be done by government. That's why government and politicians are afraid to do so. If we have an independent state whose agencies are saying that no matter who is in power, no matter which churches you are pleading to, and no matter your political connections, I'm going to put that structure that's in the wrong way. I'm going to make sure that you don't live here. I'm going to make sure that the right systems are implemented at all times. And people will not live close to these installations in the first place. And again, it's also because, sometimes our land tenure system is strange. The same land might have been acquired by government over a period of time. It has passed. Then it reverts to the traditional ownership. You can't tell the traditional owners whether they are going to keep the lands or they should sell the lands, and government has to go into negotiations with them. We need to fix that system once and for all and say that for your safety, we are moving you to a better place, and that's the responsibility of the state. And again, I'm separating state from government because we should want to make it government and make it look like the politicians are supposed to act. They have shown that when political powers are at stake, they will not act. But again, what we can do is to make sure that the state itself takes it as function. So there are various departments. There are departments in charge of housing. There are departments which are in charge of managing spatial developments in the country. These people should be bold enough to tell people in the face that there is no way we are allowed to do so. Okay. But can we expect that from them? When the Lands Commission struggles to register lands for one person within years,
that's exactly what's coming.
Yes, because if you cannot register the land, tell them that this is there's no go area. There's no way you can prevent them later after building.
So our land administration project, where has it gotten to?
Land administration project 1, sponsored by the World Bank.
1 or 2?
Second one. We are seeking to implement second one. And even now, I think that we are abandoning that phase because I had the vice president say that's where we are going. But to be fair, it was part of the second project anyway.
You see, we live in a country where we make housing so difficult for people.
Yeah,
housing is so difficult.
So that people can profit from it.
Thank you. No, and you see, the problem is that people feel like as long as, because look, Raymond, at our age, at our age, any 40 or 50-year-old who will meet you today will say, Raymond, buy land and start.
Yes.
Because, Charlie, if you don't seriously look at getting land there, you will chop 60, excuse my language, you will hit 60 and you'll go and find a shed to go and live in.
Okay, so I am going to pay rent 1,500 times 24 months. How much is it? That's 36,000 Ghana cedis.
36,000 Ghana. Meanwhile, this 36,000 Ghana cedis, if you were paying to own over the same period, this 36,000, you could even buy land, which on its own is an unreasonable price if it's 36,000 Ghana cedis. If you ask me, you see what I'm talking about?
It tells you that, and again, 36,500 for 2 years is within the reach of many people. You have to not only save consistently for a period, you have to also make a conscious effort to raise the amount of money. The alternative you could be is rely on a loan, and you could live your life depending on loans to rent virtually every 2 years.
Raymond, look, if you want to know what is in the reach of people, go and look at SNIT records. Go and look at SNIT records and find out what people are receiving in terms of SNIT benefits. We all know that the majority of people receive less than 1,000 cedis as SNIT benefits. So let me ask you that for those people who end up receiving less than 1,000 cedis as SNIT benefits, what really is their purchasing power when they are working?
Yeah.
What is their real purchasing power when they are working? How are they able to save and get land and build when they are working? So that we are here in a situation like this where we have to go and encroach on land somewhere. I'll give
sensitive national security installations. We are actually deliberately encroaching them because it looks like the final option for you. Anyway,
I'll give you two. I'll give you two other international examples, Raymond, and then we wrap up on the conversation about the security installation that we have and how important it is that we have to secure it. Okay, and then we have to move on somewhere else. This publication is from Mozambique. It was published it's from the Institute for Security Studies, an international organization, 26 March 2007. Mozambique arms explosion exposes more than poor stockpile management. Mozambique's bloody civil war came back to haunt it after a depot containing old weapons exploded, killing more than 80 people and injuring hundreds more in a fiery cascade of ignited rockets and ammunition. Okay, I'm not going to go ahead. Now let me caveat this. The arms stockpile management in Mozambique is totally different from Ghana. Let me caveat it this way. The mere fact that Ghana, we had an explosion and we understand, of course, that this fire started in a small arms laboratory within the B8.
Yeah.
It didn't actually go to where the main heavy explosives were. We'll be getting more details from the military when we speak to them. We are still working the phone lines. Now, those situations are different. With Mozambique and Ghana, we accept that. But we also know, Raymond, that if really danger was to happen in Ghana, Raymond, could we be able to? In Israel, if you go, there are embankments built around this military installation because Israel, they don't have land.
Very good.
So they don't have wide tracts of land to leave fallow. So they'll build, and the military experts will tell you that it's more like a large heap of sand with some reinforcements. So their embankments are they're very, very high. So that if these explosions happen, they don't come
be trapped within a space.
So Raymond, there are many, many, many options, but you have touched on a nerve that we really, really need to look at, which is what it means about housing and how come people don't have places to put their heads. I mean, look, if you are listening to me and maybe you just got to work or you are driving in your car, tell me honestly, how easy is it to get land to build on in this Accra that we live in or wherever in the country that you live? Tell me honestly.
I'm not even proposing that we encroach Accra more. I'm saying that because of our systems, and assuming I were to be living at Pokuase or living any place beyond that particular point and have an effective transportation system, the roads are also good, I could easily choose to live far from the city center so that I'll pay less for it. But that option is not open to me. If I did not take care and you're living very far from the city center, you'll be in trouble. You cannot have and rely on the right roads. You cannot have proper transportation systems. We started Metro Mass, whatever, and the buses got grounded along the line. We're happy, and I remember for years, 2005, 6, 7, 8, and 9, the World Bank kept on pumping money into our bus rapid transit system to make sure that we fuse a system that works for you. So that even if you're not living within the city and you cannot pay for it, and you're living very far from it, you can still come to work and go wherever you are going with an effective transportation system. So we have failed our transportation system. We have equally failed our housing system. So what kind of development planning have we gotten right in this country? Sometimes I ask myself. And I can't seem to pinpoint any of the areas we've gotten right.
You know what? Okay, so Raymond, the question has been that development and planning. This symbiotic relationship that we have here in Ghana, where planning is supposed to precede development, so that we go to an area, we plan it, and then we build.
Yeah.
But in Ghana, often development precedes planning.
Yes.
However, we know that some bold reforms are trying to be rolled out in this stage. But
you see, sometimes I'm not skeptical. I have heard of so many proposed reforms in the pipeline which never saw the light of day, which is becoming even more like a waste of everybody's time. You can trace back, and our special development plans has gone back in 1960s.
Raymond, you know what? It's an interesting element of the conversation to have to look at what we've tried to do in the past. Let's take these important messages. We are not going anywhere. This is the Super Morning Show. We'll be right back.
I wake up in the morning, it's a new day, and I got bills that I have to pay. Now you're running late, running out of time. Feels like the world is waiting in line. All you gotta do is pick up the phone and just dial 737. So whatever you do, whoever you are, there is an easy way for everyone. The simple life is just one touch away. Experience the magic starting today. And it all begins with
You see, I don't need to write or cash a check. I don't need data or internet. I have something that's faster than a jet. Just like
what are you talking about? You could be a palm wine topper, a teacher, a rapper, a schoolboy, or a school girl, or a trader, a bank MD, a chairman, or a baker.
Guaranteed Trust Bank. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Hello, I say, I was now. Vodafone normal 10 megabyte free data. It will call Smart Rubiadron. Share.
Hello, have you heard that Vodafone is giving 10 megabyte free data for every minute you talk? You just dial 50-50.
Yeah, hello. Aha! Right now, with the Vodafone people, just they call plenty. Second of us, you talk 1 minute, you go get 10 megabytes. You talk 2 minutes, you go get 20 megabytes. 3 minutes.
Call Vodafone or any network and get 10 megabytes of free data every minute you talk. It's simple. Talk to browse. The more you talk, the more data you get. Dial 50-50 to subscribe. Talk more, browse more. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Nationwide Medical Insurance, the leader in private health insurance, has deployed superior technology to make your healthcare experience more convenient and exciting. With the Nationwide mobile app, you can order your prescription drugs and we will deliver to your doorsteps. With over 600 dependable healthcare service providers, you're just a step away locating your service provider of choice and accessing hospital claim information in real time. Our corporate clients are guaranteed timely corporate utilization reports. We provide on-site clinics to give employees access to healthcare in the comfort of their offices. Enjoy these amazing benefits and so much more by signing on to Nationwide Medical Insurance today. Call us on toll-free number 0800-222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family. Ultimate luxury is what truly defines our newly unveiled O Plaza Suites. The Ark, nestled in the heart of Asukwa Kumasi. Choose from our 20 world-class penthouse suites in a relaxing setting with a private pool and a well-equipped gym and experience our home away from home. Call us on 050-7168-268 or visit our website www.kumasi.oplazahotel.com. O Plaza Suites, your new luxury accommodation address for your business trips or a simple getaway. O Plaza Suites, the pride of the Ashanti region.
For 5 long years, it's been with you, pumping smoke all along the road, with 100 dents looking like your car has been to hell and back. Even the town boys come to push without you asking. And when Bae sits in your car, she hides her face. It's time you upgrade your life with the EcoBank Express Accounts promo. Deposit 50 Ghana cedis or more in your EcoBank Express account at any Express point and win your share of over 500,000 Ghana cedis in cash and instant airtime and data from the 30th of November 2018 to the 8th of March 2019. Look out for the Express Point sign at filling stations, pharmacies, and mobile money agents nationwide and upgrade your life. Terms and conditions apply. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Adepa, Telesol 4G has brought something real good. Unlimited fast and affordable fixed and mobile internet available for everyone. Telesol Adepa package offers you unlimited 4G data throughout the month for just 499 Ghana cedis, anyhow you want it.
Anyhow?
Yes. Whether in your home or on the go, the price is the same. Contact us on 0302-221-658 or 0302-221-659 or visit www.telesol4g.com. Terms and conditions apply.
It's a new day. I want you to first think big, not small. Think of how great we can be when we work together. Together, we can ensure that our hard work will provide a better future. Together, we can provide a foundation for you and your business to succeed, regardless of its size. Together, we can create opportunities for all. Bank with us today and let's journey forward together. Forward together. Cowbank, forward together.
The other day, as I was in my kitchen preparing my special jollof made with lily rice for my family, I heard a knock at the door. It was my mechanic. Instead of calling me to pick my car, he brought it himself. I said, "Cho." He said, "F-O." I said, "Take the car back. I will come and pick it myself." As I turned off the fire from under the lily jollof, there was another knock at the door. It was my neighbor. I said, neighbor. He said, "F-O, my dog has jumped your wall again, oh." I said, "Don't be silly. You don't have a dog." My wife and kids came home, and we saw that he enjoyed. Cho, it was my pastor. He said, "Bless you." I said, "Bless you too." He said, "Did he come to church on Saturday?" I said, "Acho, but why are you coming to tell me this on Wednesday?"
Having to fend off visitors at mealtimes because of Lele's tasty aromatic rice? Celebrate every mealtime by sharing with friends and family near or far. Lele, tasty food, happy family.
Acho. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Food and Drugs Authority.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
24 minutes past 8. This is the Super Morning Show on Joe 99.7 FM. A very happy first birthday to Dylan Albert Delalom Fiaka. Dylan Albert Delalom Fiaka. God grants you abundant grace from your dad Kosi, your mom Cindy, and your sister Selinam. Thanks for staying with us. We've been talking about the explosion that happened at Michelle Camp, the explosion of a base ammunitions depot at Tema Michelle Camp. It happened sometime during the night, and it was a fire which triggered an explosion and some later, multiple explosions later. Now, the worrying part is that we've reported of shrapnel and metal objects suspected to be missiles flying out of this fire and landing in people's homes, landing in people's homes. And we are asking ourselves really this question about the sighting of the base ammunition depot, which was built in 1960, and how people have encroached onto this land? Is the solution building an embankment like it's done in Israel? Is the solution relocating this base ammunition depot like was proposed way back in 2003 when Dr. Kwame Adukufor was defense minister? Or is the solution looking at our housing system again, like we've been talking about? Because unfortunately, people seem to be, for want of a better expression, putting themselves in danger when you build on an earthquake-prone area, build in a marshy area, build in a flood-prone area, build near the Wager Dam, where the Ghana Water Company Limited spills its water. And we are asking ourselves, what is wrong with the housing system that puts us in a position like that? So many more conversations that we want to have. There's this issue of extra classes that we brought up earlier about how so many people are spending on extra classes here in the country. There's also this issue coming out of Takrady, where we told you that workers are being treated inhumanely. I mean, to the extent of workers being asked to apologize to a dog. There are new developments coming out of that story that we'll be dealing with shortly. And Athalia Kwanta is our lady on the beat. She'll be joining us from Takrady. Now, text messages on the Super Morning Show are brought to you by Afrodan. Your back must last you a lifetime. Glyco Travel Insurance Policy, we cushion you for life. Afrodan is offering you today the most comfortable chair in the world, the Nightingale Extreme Comfort Chair. It has over 10 thoughtfully engineered features, especially customized for your health and comfort. So working has never had it this good. So go to Afrodan on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade and feel this chair. You will be amazed. If you're a real super football fan, this is your chance to see your favorite teams go head-to-head live in their home stadium in the UK. Simply open a Barclays Ultimate account, maintain a balance of at least 500 Ghana cedis, and swipe to make payments with your Barclays card as often as you can to win an all-expenses-paid trip to the UK to watch your favorite teams go head-to-head live. You can also win a stadium experience in our local Superfan penthouse and take away exciting home items and your favorite team souvenirs. Don't miss out on your chance to experience football the way it was meant to be experienced, live with Barclays. Visit our Facebook and Twitter for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Barclays, part of the ABSA family. It's 28 minutes past 8. Anyone has a few messages?
Okay, so Francis says, Daniel, you guys are making things difficult for students and parents. Students have always had holiday classes in the years past. Let's not pretend as if it's something new with the free SHS. We parents suggested to school authorities to organize the classes for our children to keep them busy and active during the period. Let's stop funding educational issues for politicians because the future of our children is very important to us. Another one on education. Good morning, Daniel. It's a very laudable idea for PSEC and Accra Academy to organize extra tuition for Form 2 students because parents are still going to put their wards in private classes anyway. How can a Form 2 science student stay home from December till the end of March when already the 3 years is not enough to complete their lesson or curriculum, all in the name of free SHS? It's sad how politicians are playing with education in Ghana. If government can't afford free SHS, it should come clear. That's Hetty from Kolibu. And then I have one on housing. Daniel, your mention of deliberately taking decisions or actions that come back to harm us really was spot on. Was it not only on Monday that the Ghana Railway set out to evict squatters by the rail tracks? What were two housing, in quotation marks, facilities doing in a buffer zone? When these people started settling way back, where were the railway authorities? We're all to blame, as Raymond concludes, state officials and citizens alike. And that's from Nikwe Mensa in Hacho.
Right. Thanks for all of those messages that you've been sending in. Now, we put out a tweet on Twitter, and we've been asking you to send us in your thoughts on that. So we'll be reading them in a moment. But before we do anything, okay, so Raymond has those messages. Before we go on to our next story, Raymond.
Okay, so we actually asked the question that the schools like Accra Academy and others have actually been putting up. I hear
Accra Academy and PSEC
Okay, yes.
And to be fair, Chemu Senior High School and Tema Senior High School.
Yes, yes. So many schools.
So Presec was the first school named.
AL says it's not compulsory. The question is if any responsible parent will allow their ward to stay home for 4 months without going to an extra classes. This one says, I was paying for extra classes back in high school. This was 6 years ago. I don't see anything wrong with it. The question is it compulsory? That's what Alpha is saying. Kojan Ponsan is saying that let's not attribute these S-class classes to the free SHS system or the SIFT system. This has been with us ever since. I attended one when I was a president between 2000 and 2002. And the answer to that question we asked was most definitely, that's according to Daypod. And Prosper is actually asking, in this case, back then in Mauli School, about 21 years ago, we had extra classes. So don't hide behind this shift system to prevent parents from giving their children good education. Now, well, Paul Eche Atishope is asking whether extra classes is new in our country. We all know that we are running a semester system at place of termly systems. However, our syllabi are structured in termly basis. So these extra classes will help the teachers and students complete their topics and to improve the students' performance. TJ says teachers are using these extra classes as a way of survival since the amount they receive from the government is not enough. And that's according to TJ. Now, F.A. Taylor is saying that there can never be too much fish in the soup. And Ajingo says it's waste of money. Of course, I mean, and that's also there. NIIT has one about, I'm sure if they don't, they will fail. And what extra thing do they teach the school? That's what Amamil is asking in this case. Rashad Mohammed says, it makes nonsense of the free SHS policy. Parents don't get any windfall. Dr. Pleasance Ampim says, in fact, it's too necessary. The double track system is a failure. Without extra classes, the students will perform poorly during WASI. How can you stay home for 4 months and call it vacation? Now, there's another one from Michael Abobi Jr. It says, if I feel my ward is weak in a particular subject and I can afford to have him in extra classes, what's wrong with that? You guys make it look like extra classes is illegal. And there's one from Nana Mwakwa. Maybe I'll finish off with that. If you think it's not necessary, don't go. As if the questioner never had extra classes in his or his school days. Okay, you are
adds, can I read what he
Yes, please.
He adds nonsense.
Nonsense? Nonsense?
No, he was NANSINS.
Yeah.
Nonsense. So please, who tweeted that tweet? Did the person go for extra classes? I think it was Augustine. Gus, did you go for extra classes? Come and answer you. Nana Mako wants to know. It's 27 minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 99.7 FM. It's 26 minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 99.7 FM. Thanks for staying with us so far. I'm going to play for you a short rap of something disturbing that is happening in Takrady. Really, really, really. Very, very annoying. Ghanaian workers are reportedly being subjected to inhumane treatment and a company in Takrady. I'll tell you more about it, but listen to this.
There are as many as 10 dogs in this compound. And anytime any of us is bitten by the dog, the boss asks us to write an apology to the dog. We constantly apologize to the dogs in this compound. Last month, December, was that any reason? Some of our colleagues who refuse to do this are dismissed from the workplace, and so we are left with only few people doing so much work.
That was a worker speaking with Eric Nanajetia. Eric Nanajetia was the one who did that interview. But our correspondent in the Western region is Natalia Kwanza. and she has joined us on the phone to tell us more. Ina, before we do anything else, we understand one of these workers has been sacked.
Sure, Daniel.
Give us the details of that.
Yes, so Daniel Isaac Brace, the one who just spoke, I spoke to him this morning and he told me that he has been sacked after speaking to the media. He was given a 1 month salary, which is 250, and then 6 days. So now he has been sacked, and apparently he's home now, so we are just waiting for the next action from duty bearers.
Okay. What reason was given for the sack? Because we know that on Tuesday, this same Isaac Kojo Brace was asked to leave the premises for failing to obey his orders. Has he told you the details of that?
He didn't give me details, but he said after he had spoken to the media, that was yesterday, Tuesday, and the story was aired in some media houses here in the Second Takoradi metropolis, and got to the attention of management, and then he was sacked. He was given a letter that he is no longer needed at their premises, and then he was given a 1 month salary, as I stated earlier.
Okay, Ina, tell us what you've been gathering from these workers with respects to how they're treated. You've been talking about them being bitten by a dog and having to apologize to the dog after they are bitten by this dog, and safety equipment and other issues. What are the real issues there?
Yes, so Daniel, as you heard from the audio you just played, these workers tell me that sometimes they are being bitten by these ascension dogs. They have many of that in their premises. Unfortunately, my attempt to get into the premises, the security guy denied me access to speak to the management. So I couldn't see these dogs for myself. But the workers told me that they have many of these dogs there. So it went about 10 of them. So when you are walking around doing your duties and you are being bitten by this dog, instead of them taking you to the hospital or finding medication for you, you are rather asked to write an apology letter to these dogs. And then their salaries are just not okay. Someone who has been working for over 30 years receives 350 cedis as a take-home pay. And then even with Isaac Brace, who has been sacked, he also takes home 250 after working with the company for 18 good years. They do not have attires, whatever they need to work to give out their best, they are not given.
So generally, they work in very poor working conditions. Okay.
Yes, and Daniel, this is the same place that the gas exploded about 2 years ago, if you would remember.
Yes. This company in Takoradi, in sort of the industrial area of Takoradi. Yes. So now that management is refusing to speak, and all we hear is that one worker has been sacked, are you able to access any of the other workers?
Most of the workers would gladly speak to you on this. When I got there this morning, I had some of them to speak to them, and it's the same issue. They keep on repeating the same issue of poor working conditions, the ascension dogs biting them writing apology letters and all that. After several protests, they do not get any good feedback. So they thought the media was the best place to resort to and then speak to. And then now that when someone boldly came out, he has been sacked. They don't know the next step to take.
Wow. Natalia Kwanzaa, thank you very much for joining us, painting this picture to us this morning. So as you just heard from Natalia Kwanzaa, she's even being prevented from entering the company's premises. Management is refusing to comment. A worker who spoke to the media earlier has been sacked for reasons unknown, I should say. Worrying.
Okay, yes, very worrying. And I thought we've dealt with so many of these issues in time past. Any person who is employing anybody, there are specific laws in our Labor Act. This Labor Act, regardless where you come from, what your nationality is, you're supposed to follow this law. The law is pretty clear on treatment of workers. The law is even clear on even treatment of casual workers in this particular case. We have a serious unemployment situation on our hands. People take up jobs that ordinarily, in fact, in the huge section of even very qualified people are underemployed in this country. So people are enjoying in various facets of our sectors treatments that are not supposed to be deserving of the kind of job they are doing. I believe that some of these reports should be taken serious, investigated by the relevant institutions of state. They should be proactive. So I expect the the labor ministry, to quickly send people in there. And especially when it involves expatriates, there is that feeling that you are back to virtual colonization of some sort. That people come to create jobs in your country and they use that to not only exploit you, but also proceed to do things that are unfair to you. You feel terrible because these are people that you feel have come to your country to try and make money and also help you out because you are getting some money out of it. Yeah. And they will treat you in the case. Yeah. We've had the case of Lebanese, and I'm sure you remember the Mawakuk incident very clearly. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that if a Ghanaian is doing it to another Ghanaian, it's any better, or it's supposed to be accepted, or it's in any better form. But emotionally, there's a lot of disdain if you feel that somebody from elsewhere is subjecting you to this kind of treatment. And that's why I expect the people in the relevant state institutions to have quick naps on the ground and be able to pick them up and deal with it consistently. Indeed, you can't say that the people should not go to work because, listen, some of these people, their families are supposed to be relying on this job, regardless of how small or how big the amount of money they are being paid will be. So if you're not going to create jobs for our own people, and we'll leave that sector to an external institution to provide it, at least we should regulate it for the dignity of the Ghanaian.
There's where we can start from, and I'm reading from the Labour Act 2003. Mm-hmm. Fair termination is section 62. Because one thing we can establish is that Isaac Kojo Brace has been sacked by this company. Now, Isaac Brace was fairly terminated if he did one of these things. And it says here, a termination of a worker's employment is fair if the contract of employment is terminated by the employer on any of the following grounds. The worker is incompetent or lacks qualification in relation to the work for which the worker is employed. Proven misconduct of the worker. Redundancy under section 65. Due to legal restriction imposed on the worker, prohibiting the worker from performing the work for which he or she is employed. So the question here is that on what grounds was the man removed? Mm-hmm. Are his allegations true? If they are true, why are they ongoing? If they are not true, how are they being resolved? We have the sacked worker on the line, Isaac Kojo Brace. He has joined us on the line. Okay. Mr. Brace, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you too.
What reason was given for your sacking?
Please, I want to speak vernacular.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Another 7:39. You will do me a Jumana. Also, my head man, Jumaya too. Now, no worse when here a future boy, Mwaji Coco, the managers when Yanti, Jumari and Minjan from Kaya, the Major, the head man, the Major Mano. Say, Jumana, Covers and so. My head man, Yan Swinty, the box is warm there. One for Covers and Ungum. Same the other man, Yan. Until Gujmano do Yariana, manager by. Obey us in the Covers no 1 year. Number so. Dear me head man on all year Covers, Musumaya body no. Internet damon you wear bear the Major Mano. No, so no. Me on a dealing in our body no in Covers Nina. I'm a manager. You wear by into all my chance that do you kitchen in him. No, just she. Football no cocoa chance in a mayan or table no job, what chance in the Manoa way. Into all man or catch him there. Mumpe pado. Number Mumpe. Into Numunasuna, bread quality control in you or more friend or say on Sacramento pado. Number so, Oba or catch a Mumpe pad, number catch a Mumpe. So as a Mumpe, they are not on for Miss Camfam and my on for Miss Camaman.
Hello, Isaac. Hello, Isaac. Unfortunately, we seem to have lost him. The Isaac Kojo Brace is a sacked worker. He was explaining that an incident that occurred on the premises of his company, which he is explaining led to his sacking. You're still live on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Raymond and I were going through some sections of the law which would deem fair termination of employment. A number of these allegations have been raised, and we have not gotten management of the company to respond yet. Neither have we gotten sufficient proof from these workers. So what we will do is that we'll stick with the sacking of Mr. Isaac Brace. And we'll take these messages, we'll come back, we'll try and raise him on the line and deal with the issues in a more detailed manner. This is the Super Morning Show. We'll be right back.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Adjudged Group Private Health Insurance Provider 2018 by West Africa Healthcare Excellence Awards, Vitality Health Insurance offers corporates varied all-inclusive healthcare plans. Our plans are customized to meet your corporate needs with prompt claims payment as our hallmark. Excellent customer service is guaranteed you by Vitality. Vitality, we ensure reduction of fraudulent claims leading to reduced medical bills. Why stress yourself when you can outsource your healthcare administration to Vitality's experts? Call 026-6573-200 or 050-6099-800 or visit www.vitalitymh.com. Vitality Health Insurance. Enjoy good health with Vitality.
Since it's our 40th birthday at Rana Motors, we're extending the celebration with 40 days of Christmas. Join us at all our Kia showrooms and enjoy up to 22% discount and a 40-inch TV with every purchase. And much, much more. With Rana Motors and Kia, the Christmas spirit will last for 40 days this year. For more info, call 0249-911-444. Kia, the power to surprise.
Kofi, yankwada adiasa.
Mamina hakakra, enche meba.
Entuntum wa hapao. Minji ndi sa opesa o yare biu.
Sweetie, me ya yare o. Mi ti wo de mesrew. Onko drugstore ho onko pedro bi mreme.
Ade na wo my yanko hospital. Eho de ye be hu ade pot na eyo. Na doctor ahweso ama wanu aduru.
Eye pa se Kofi ko hospital ma doctor hwehunu de na ha no pot ma no aduru pepepe. Nipa bebre ne firi omu pemu koto aduru wo pharmacy shop wo bra won hwehwe hunu ade e ha wo mo. We betimi di sunsu aso bone aba omo apomuden so. Enye fever bia na ye malaria.
Anti nurse ni maye malaria test no. Ane Kofi wo malaria ampa.
Doctor actually say Kofi mfa ACT.
Kofi bomodia se wo befa ACT eduro no. Se ni aya kire wo no pepepe.
Odo eye pa se e bare. Medro ni aka ni o. Manom se ni esi kire me pepepe. Na onim bribi.
Eji sa wo ka kire me.
Efi ene ekọ no. Ye fi ha de ye ne malaria to kwanta ya pai kra.
Asem de. Na mama mbi sa wo anadwi ehifa ena obeda.
Wa wunim medo se de mosquito net ya hye na drum. Eno nko ase ne ebeda. Abrapapa boni ye eye da bia adeyo. Enkan boy if we Ghana Health Service any USAID eho.
This is the sound of a busy city. A sound of a connected city. Now, listen closely.
Goose na be do I me chow ATM.
Yeah, show me Airtel Tigo Money.
That is the sound of a business owner in Techiman receiving money on his Airtel Tigo Money wallet. Hey, Aze, that is the sound of somebody who is going far away, but will still stay connected to home.
In 500 meters, turn left.
That is the sound of somebody arriving at their next drop-off point with ease. And this.
Add 2 cups of flour to the mix and stir briskly for 2 minutes.
Is the sound of a business startup on its way to success. It's important that you focus on the things that matter. That's why Airtel Tigo is placing its focus on you. We put in the work and expanded and strengthened our network so that you can do the same with your network of business, family, and friends. We're here to make life simple. Join today, Airtel Tigo.
Now, this very moment, it's the pulse of possibility, potential, power. It's time
to make your move.
To take that step.
The time is now.
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 The great things you do tomorrow start with the small steps you take right now. So take that step with Old Mutual. Call us on 0302-230-638 and make now count. Old Mutual. Do great things every day.
Since inception, almost 100% of Ashesi University students have found jobs, started businesses, or gone on to graduate school within 6 months of graduation. From Accra to Nairobi, London to New York, Ashesi graduates are noticed and they are leading successful careers. If you dream of a rewarding life and career, an Ashesi education prepares you for just that. Learn more about applying to Ashesi at www.ashesi.edu.gh. Remember, admission is ongoing.
Same great bank, helping you grow.
Do you have challenges transferring money to your friends or customers with accounts at other banks? Are you worried at the delays with other banks' checks you deposit into your account? Do you have challenges paying your workers or suppliers instantly across banks? You don't need to wait for 2 days anymore. Walk into any ADB branch today and send your money instantly to any account in Ghana, or link ADB Instant Pay to your accounting software for all salaries and payments. You can also access ADB Instant Pay service on our mobile banking app, internet banking, and *767#. ADB, truly a Greek and more.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Yeah, Sydney, je suis arrivé. Qu'est-ce que la nation soit c'est le Ghana? Arrêtez le babadage, c'est moi le tu. Sydney back again, yeah. Now no in the bar. What you saying now? Squad alongside Man and Morris, Babyface. What you say now? Our money, Africa money. I got the chop and fuga. Wanna money, our money, Africa money. I got the chop and fuga. Ile chop and nyanga. I got the chop and yafu. Wow. I got the chop and ya. Ile chop and fuga. I got the chop and nyanga. Africa money, okay, the chop and go. Woman, they way, rich, they enjoy. I say, how we go bridge, the gap between account and the job, okay, the chop and fuga. Back manager, the job.